Jordan Harley, Rizzle Kicks, pleasure to meet you.
You too, sir.
You're just about to take to the stage here at the LSO for HP Connected Music. How did that connection come about?
Email.
Uh-huh.
On a Hewlett-Packard PC.
You do?
No, I don't. But I think it was, what they were offering was cool. It was like a side of the performance being streamed and to promote the new kind of software, or application. I don't know how you describe it. But music streaming basically of universal artists. But then there's also a whole thing about like a remix competition. So a lot of people have been remixing Lost Generation, which has been wicked. So I just think it's something. I think it was a positive thing to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. Back to your stuff now. You're quite opinionated on your new single, Lost Generation. Were you worried about upsetting anybody at all? Or?
No, I think the idea was that
with people that you are going to say those kind of things to, I suppose you kind of got to not worry about upsetting them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no question. No, I love the single. I think it's great.
I think people like controversy. So let us be the source of that.
But a lot of people are playing it too safe as well these days. So it's good to see someone coming out and just.
It was a middle ground. Yeah, it could have been harder. Could have been playing it a little safer. But I just wanted to get there's a couple of names in there, and that was the main thing. But yeah, I don't think anyone really does social commentary at the moment.
So you just released your second album, Roaring Twenties. I really enjoyed it.
Thanks, mate.
Sounding like you're maturing in style.
Yeah.
Is it a natural step on from stereotypical?
Yes, I think so.
We're hoping our career just simply works like building bricks. There'll be no real reason to fall behind a previous work. We learn every time we do something. We learn from it, and kind of take that into account the next time we approach it. So,
yeah.
So I think as we grew up, so did our concepts and so did the music.
Yeah, no. I mean, I like the immediacy of the opener, This Means War, and the closer as classic. Is there a message that you're trying to get across in the album in between?
There's a kind of loose concept that runs through the album, which is where the name of the album comes from.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's like the parallel between how people acted in the 1920s and how you act when you're.
Yeah, no. It's, could you briefly explain it for the?
Well, there was one song. There was one song on the album called Jive, which is simply about the 1920s, and that's when kind of.
I said.
Roaring
20s. Someone basically said like, someone basically was like, "Oh, and you're in your 20s," and we were like, "Oh yeah, Roaring 20s." So and a lot of the concepts reflect the kind of like vague parallel between the two things. For example, there's a song called "Jam Yourself," which is about one's perception on money and whether you'd be happier being given money or earning it. And that was a topic I think that was on a few people's minds in the 1920s. A lot more dramatic, of course, but they were having the up before the huge down. That was the last time anyone had money before the Great Depression. So I think that was maybe a topic that we thought that kind of that worked in both.
No, the parallels are excellent. I think it's a very intelligent little concept. That.
Thanks.
No, really good. Was it a difficult second album?
No.
Just came.
It was like we were saying before. It was kind of just natural, and all that. We started writing the album whilst we were kind of promoting the first album. Near the end of the first album, we were just really excited of the success of the first album. That I think, a lot of people attached like difficult to writing a second album, but it was definitely not for us.
I think. From our personally, how we were very fortunate. Like we literally went from nothing to something, because of the right person hearing our song and putting it on radio. So we were kind of thrown into this world. We're like, shit, like what the hell, what We had to kind of get involved and release an album that we are really proud of.
Yeah.
But then we learned all these lessons and we gained more power, and the power gave us confidence, and then that confidence pushed us forward as writers and stuff.
Yeah, because you do come across as very confident people, pretty intelligent, and likable. I think your audience as well. You've got an audience that, could be the teenage fans or middle-aged.
Audience.
Sorry?
It's a random one.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, middle-aged musos like me, and then you got grandparents, you know. But you sort of sweep across the board. There's everybody likes Rizzle Kicks. I mean, how do you
Not
do it?
everybody.
Well, everyone, but I've never heard of anyone saying, "Oh, I really hate Rizzle Kicks." You know, but you're
Some
grabbing
people
all
do.
the
I
fans
see on
from-
Twitter. Some people are quite passionately dislike us.
I suppose that happens, but
It
there's
does,
a lot of people that passionately like you, but in all the sort of age
Yeah.
spectrums.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. I think it's just because I don't think we have the. Firstly, we make positive music, and
Yeah.
you know that positivity carries throughout generations. You know, Soda's downbeat. You know, a lot. Obviously, you get like vast people loving. They're kind of like slower. But you know, it's just there's no negative. We're not trying to, you know, we're just like wanting people to kind of smile. But yeah, I think we stepped outside of like maybe a few constraints that happen sometimes within genres when you're looking to enter into a world. Sometimes there's this weird expectations like some genres centre around like a certain beat per minute even, and then like maybe like there's definitely like a huge scene in like folk guitar singing, and if you do a song in a certain way then suddenly you've stepped out of that world. And like we just like loads of music, and the scene in Brighton was so small it was virtually just us like within what we were doing, so there wasn't anyone telling us can't do that, sounds this, or we just don't really care about expectations to fit within anything.
Yeah,
so,
you've got genre. I think you sort of embrace loads of different genres.
And what I love as well is we get a lot of I didn't like rap. A lot of people say I didn't like rap before I heard you, but funny enough we also get people who like rap saying I don't think you can rap. So like we're rap for people who don't like rap, and not rap people who like it.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I think people respect it. I think what the other common trait is people who are happy definitely get us.
Yeah.
People who are
that
miserable
comes
are just
across.
miserable.
Yeah.
Definitely, you're positive people. Positive, optimist. I mean,
I was always so positive, even when I lived in Neasden, like run down, disgusting. Like you've been to Neasden before?
Yeah. I grew up in Cannons Park, so I
Right.
was in the Jubilee.
It's revolting. And I thought, why wasn't I more like? I took like maybe 2 weeks to adjust into Brighton. I was a little bit aggressive, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought, you know, maybe I was that kid. Maybe I was that guy. Maybe I was that like, you know, kid from the street. Because every time people talk to me, they talk to me like I was brought up in like a castle. And I'm just like, I wasn't brought up in a castle. And I watched a video of me when I was younger the other day, and I've always been the same way. My head's been in the clouds continuously. Even like police vans and like knives to throats and stuff. I just, all I wanted to do is buy Pokemon cards and play football. And I think, you know, when my mum brought me up, I never really saw the negatives of anything. I just kind of liked to just try and understand why.
Definitely an optimist. What about you? An optimist as well?
Yeah, definitely, definitely in my teenage years. I mean,
No, you are or you're not.
Currently, I'm definitely an optimist. I mean,
No, you've always been an optimist.
yeah, I've definitely I can't really remember the years of when I grew up in London and Haringey, but I definitely wasn't as positive as Jordan was. I don't think. But
When you were younger?
yeah, from when I grew up in Haringey, I definitely wasn't.
He was in a harder rap crew than I was.
But then growing up, yeah, because Brighton is a place where it allows you to reach those levels of kind of creativity and happiness. I suppose everyone's accepted for anything they want to do.
Yeah, which is right, really. But you know, everyone's popped up on the new album. Jamie Cullen, Etta Bond, Dabbler, Dominic West.
Yeah.
Your mum, dad, cousin. Where were your family?
Doesn't Elena play like a classical instrument?
She plays piano. Oh. But I did say to my dad the other day, I was like, so you're going to sing on the next album? He was like, if you're genuinely being honest, I'll practice every day until that happens. So
what's his piece going to be?
Huh? What's his piece going to be?
Yeah, what was he going to do? An instrument or singing?
I don't know. I said, do you want to sing on it? He said, I'll practice. So maybe. I don't know.
Al does play bass as well.
Yeah, my dad, he came into a studio session once and like laid down a bass line for a song, but we never used it.
What was that for?
It was in a rural session. He came in.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man.
Based on that, but we never. The song
That's
didn't
the
make
first song we did in the studio.
Kind of, well, it was like kind of
After my jam.
yeah.
But recently you've been working with Pharrell Williams as well. What's going to come out of that collaboration then?
Hopefully this song, that's really good.
Yeah, we made like 4 songs.
We want to release it next year.
What's it called?
I can't take that.
Oh, come on. The news.
But yeah.
Exclusivity, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the song is great. Well, that we made 4, but there was one
It's called Get
standout. There was one standout song, but it didn't really fit with the rest of the vibe of the rest of the album. So
We think it'd be a great tune to release next year.
Yeah, no, I hope so. I'm sure it will be.
If he still likes us.
I saw you hosting the Brits as well, you know. You seem to have a great time there. Is that
Drunk.
sort of future? Yeah, oh, you were drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked about
Off
it.
my
Looked,
face.
I mean, I was
Do you know how
laughing.
difficult it is to go to an award ceremony and not drink?
I know, impossible. Absolutely impossible.
Yeah.
But it was very funny, and you carried it off perfectly, I thought. You know, you're just
ITV
sitting at home
loved
and you're
it.
laughing.
yeah.
That was what I think that's what they wanted.
Oh, everyone
What
must have
was
loved it.
great about
Everyone
it was
spoke to
that
Trended on Twitter,
after it came out on TV, a lot of the comments were like, "Oh my God, Rizzle Kicks is so funny." A lot of them saying Rizzle Kicks is so unprofessional. and
Like,
idiotic.
God, I hate to be Whitmore having to deal with those 2 mugs all night.
So what I think
Trended on Twitter, mate. Thanks for that.
Yeah, yeah,
Another
yeah.
little
great
notch.
is that it's another talking point, and we love to kind of call
Definitely. But you know, I loved it. I thought it was great, you know.
I thought we were amazing.
I'm not just saying it either. I know you're both Arsenal fans like me.
Good.
Yeah,
You
good,
launched
man.
their kit
Yeah,
under
Purple
Purple
Rain.
Rain. Yeah. Do you get down to the Emirates a lot then?
Yeah,
You're in London?
we did that season, but we've just been busy.
Yeah.
We used to live
exactly.
next to it.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah,
Whereabouts?
literally like
I live at
30
Finchley Park now.
seconds, Drayton Park.
We used to live
Oh,
by
okay.
Drayton Park Station.
Yeah.
So we literally we could hear the games from our house.
Yeah. I can hear the tune.
That's one thing I probably miss actually, is Emirates.
Mm.
But yeah, no, not so much so recently. But we want
What's-
to.
Yeah. What's prediction this year? Where are we going to end up?
I have to see how Herzl does, man.
Yeah.
He could be a major turning point for us. It's just whether he fits in or if Carzola
He's got to.
is happy.
I think in the next
We've got a very
transfer
overcrowded
window as well,
midfield.
we'll get a striker.
You know,
Yeah.
it was Mourinho who stopped Bath from coming as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was really upset that he was like, what did he didn't? Wasn't it? I had a rumour that the owner of Chelsea, the chairman, rung Mourinho and asked him. Sorry, not Mourinho. Rung. Who's
Wenger.
Real Madrid's? Who
No.
rung?
Oh,
Real Madrid's?
shit. What's his name?
I don't remember. But he's
Anyway,
saying to
He
not
apparently
sell
rung,
it.
yeah, said like don't
That's
sell
what
it.
that's
so-
what Tottenham's.
Oh,
chairman-
Tottenham's. Oh, it's Tottenham's. Yeah, Tottenham's chairman.
Ah.
Don't so please don't sell
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, we did them anyway.
Guys,
Okay. Yeah.
thanks.
One second. Last one. Last question. And if the perfect day, if your perfect day could start off seeing Arsenal win the FA Cup at Wembley, what would happen next, and where would you end up?
What would
If the day,
Perfect- your
day
perfect-
starts
yeah,
off
yeah.
with us winning FA Cup, Wembley.
Yeah.
How
What
would
would
it
happen
end?
next, and where would you end up? It's a stupid question, really, but
Probably amongst the celebrations of the players would be the after bit. Just like going down there, the dressing room with all the players and going a bit mad. That'd be great.
I'd like to end up at a house party of some sort, preferably with a chandelier and a classic piano, with Wenger absolutely off his face, attempting to play chopsticks.
I love it. Anything else to say to music news watchers?
We like music, we like news.
Big up.
Nice one. Thanks a lot, Ed. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.